This unnerving footage comes to us from TikTok user Diego Spikers, who captured something truly bizarre in his home late at night. According to the uploader, he had been hearing persistent scratching and heavy movement coming from the space above his ceiling panels for several nights. In a state of growing concern, he decided to investigate, arming himself with a long wooden pole to see if he could flush out whatever was hiding in the darkness of the attic space. The atmosphere is thick with a palpable sense of dread as he carefully probes the loose wood, oblivious to what is actually watching him from the shadows.
Escucha, hágale, pero hágale suavecito. Espere, luego. Hágale.
The detail in this capture is absolutely staggering and highly disturbing. As the panel is pushed up, a very human-looking face with wide, dark eyes briefly peeks through the gap. Skeptics suggest this could be a clever practical effect, perhaps a mask or even a friend of the uploader positioned in the crawlspace to create a viral moment. However, the sheer speed of the withdrawal and the unsettling proportions of the face have led paranormal researchers to wonder if something more sinister was living in those walls. It certainly isn't a situation most people would want to find themselves in. What do you make of this face in the attic? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Our next investigation brings us a video from TikTok user UMXArian, who has been documenting a series of aggressive disturbances at his residence. The uploader explains that after a week of relative peace, the strange activity has returned with a vengeance. He claims that something in the yard has been repeatedly striking his external gas tank, creating a rhythmic and violent sound that echoes through the house. As he moves from the safety of his living room toward the back door, the tension is visible in the way the camera shakes. He is clearly expecting to find a trespasser, but the reality of the situation seems much harder to explain rationally.
¿Qué onda, raza? Otra vez está escuchando que le están pegando allá afuera. Vamos a ver qué rollo. Ya tiene una semana que no pasaba esto, pero otra vez escuchó que le están pegando allá al tanque de gas. Vamos a ver qué. Ese tanque de gas es el que le pegan. Bueno, ya tenía una semana que no pasaba. Cerrar la puerta porque está canijo.
The intensity of that banging is difficult to ignore. It sounds like a frantic, intelligent attempt to get attention or cause intimidation, while skeptics will point out that an accomplice could easily be standing just out of sight behind the door or wall to create the sound. The uploader seems genuinely rattled by the recurrence of the event. Others have suggested that plumbing issues or air in the gas lines could cause hammering sounds, but the cadence here feels almost like a desperate knock. If this were a hoax, the timing and the echo of the metallic strikes were perfectly executed to maximize the scare factor. Was it a physical intruder or something else entirely? Tell me what you think in the comments. This next piece of evidence was uploaded by Beard Duty and features one of the most reliable witnesses in paranormal research, a family pet. Animals are often credited with a sixth sense, and in this footage, the uploader's dog Toddy is clearly fixated on something invisible in the kitchen area. The owner notes that the activity in the house has been escalating, becoming increasingly more dangerous and physical. As we watch, the dog's behavior shifts from curiosity to genuine fear, refusing to leave the safety of the couch while staring intently at a specific corner of the room. The uploader tries to investigate, but even he seems hesitant to cross into the kitchen where the energy feels off.
Alright guys, so the dog was freaking out. She was trying to alert me to something in the kitchen. She started walking into the kitchen. She got to about right by the basement. And then something spooked her because she yelped and ran onto the couch and has been sitting here ever since, watching over at that spot. What'd you see? What is it? Tell Daddy. What'd you see? Where is it? Guys, always trust your guts. She got to like right here. Nothing in here. she is like following something. I don't know what she saw. I'm not sure what that was. No fucking way. No fucking way.
The moment that knife slides across the floor is enough to send a chill down anyone's spine. Skeptics often look for thin fishing lines or magnets hidden under the floorboards in these types of videos, arguing that the movement is too smooth and controlled. They also note that the camera cuts or specific angles could hide a mechanical pull. However, proponents of the paranormal point to the dog's reaction as the most authentic part of the clip. A pet's fear is hard to fake. If someone was pulling a string, why would the dog be alerted to that specific spot before the movement even occurred? This remains one of the more aggressive captures we've seen recently. Do you believe Toddy saw a spirit, or was this a clever setup? Leave a comment with your theory. The evidence we've seen tonight has been nothing short of terrifying. From entities lurking in attic crawl spaces to physical objects being manipulated by unseen hands, the paranormal seems to be making itself known. If these clips have you looking over your shoulder, make sure to subscribe to Pale Playback and hit the notification bell. We bring you fresh, analyzed evidence every single week. Don't go anywhere because our final investigation of the night involves a shadow figure that simply refuses to leave its witness alone. Our final and perhaps most detailed series of events comes from TikTok user Chitsamgi. For months during the quarantine of 2020, he and his fiancée documented a presence they nicknamed the Shadow Man. It started with strange scratching noises coming from the bathroom, which prompted the uploader to set up a camera in the hallway. What follows is a game of peekaboo that quickly turns from a curiosity into a source of genuine domestic terror. The uploader remains skeptical at first, attempting to debunk the shadow as a trick of the light or a projection. But as the events escalate, the fear in his voice becomes impossible to ignore.
So I've been hearing some strange noises coming from this bathroom. And so I'm going to set up this camera to record and see if we catch anything. I've never caught anything on camera before, so I'm hoping that this might be the first time, but kind of sounds like scratches.
That first peek is subtle, but it's the beginning of a disturbing pattern. You can see a dark mass leaning out from the bathroom doorframe. Some viewers believe this is a genuine shadow person manifesting in the low light. However, the uploader isn't convinced yet and decides to push for more evidence. Keep your eyes on that same doorway, because the entity is about to become much more bold.
All right, guys, so you wanted an update. So here is the shower. That's where the cat goes to the bathroom, so nobody's in there. Nobody's in the bathroom. Nothing's behind the door. All right, we're turning the light off because it doesn't like the light. Here's my fiance.
I don't want to be on camera.
Okay.
I don't think we should be engaging it.
It's fine. It hasn't done anything. It's not really being too like creepy or anything. It just does. So we've been playing peekaboo. Peekaboo. Okay, guys.
It peaks again, even clearer this time. Skeptics argue that a person standing in the bathroom could easily mimic this movement, but the uploader shows us that his fiancée is in another room and doesn't want to be involved. As the atmosphere darkens, the entity begins to interact with the environment while the family cat watches with intense focus.
Peekaboo. Okay, guys. I think I f***ed up a little bit. Do you hear that? What the f*** is that? cat's right here. She doesn't seem to be worried about it.
The cat's reaction is undeniable. She hears the cabinets being tampered with in the bathroom. The uploader's patience is wearing thin, and he decides to confront the entity directly. He's tired of the bullshit, as he calls it, but the house is about to give him a very loud response to his demands.
All right. I appreciate all the well wishes. I haven't been getting great sleep lately. I don't know if it's because of this, but I'm going to take your advice. It's been slamming the doors again this morning. I'm just going to tell it to get the out of here. Okay? All right, this is it. You are not welcome here. You need to leave. We are done with your bullshit. We are not going to take it anymore, okay? You need to get the out. No, no. This is bullshit.
The violent slam of the bathroom door in direct response to his shouting is perhaps the most convincing piece of evidence in this entire saga. Skeptics suggest the door could have been pulled by a string or pushed by a person hiding behind it, but the layout of the bathroom, as shown earlier, makes that difficult to pull off without being seen. The timing is also too perfect for a simple draft. Others argue that the entire series is a well-crafted IRG or alternate reality game designed to entertain. Regardless of its origin, the psychological toll on the residents seems very real. Was this a frustrated spirit or a masterfully orchestrated viral story? I'd love to hear your analysis of the Shadow Man in the comments below. This chilling piece of footage originates from a TikTok account documenting an exploration of an abandoned elementary school in Texas. The air in these old buildings is often heavy with the weight of forgotten memories, but what this investigator captures goes beyond mere nostalgia. As they navigate the dark, debris-strewn hallways with only a flashlight for guidance, the atmosphere shifts from curious to predatory. Schools are supposed to be places of life and learning, yet when empty, they become some of the most unsettling environments on Earth. Keep your focus on the end of the corridor, where the light struggles to reach, as we witness something that should not be there. The figure is startlingly clear, standing motionless and facing the wall in a manner reminiscent of the most disturbing horror tropes. Skeptics might suggest this is a clever use of a mannequin or a prop planted by the uploader to garner views, citing the lack of movement as a red flag for a staged event. However, the sheer isolation of the location and the authentic reaction of the cameraman provide a compelling counter-argument for those who believe in residual hauntings. Some researchers suggest that children's energy is particularly prone to leaving an imprint on a location, resulting in these static, silent apparitions. Whether it's a calculated hoax or a genuine window into the school's past, the image lingers long after the screen goes dark. I want to hear your take on this. Is this just a prop, or did they find a permanent resident of the school? Share your theories in the comments below. Coming to us from user May Castani, this video captures a group of students in what appears to be a typical classroom setting after hours. The mood is light, with laughter and conversation filling the room, completely unaware of the chaos that is about to erupt. There's a specific type of energy that builds in classrooms, often dismissed as youthful exuberance, but some believe it can act as a catalyst for poltergeist activity. As the students record their interactions, the environment suddenly turns hostile, transforming a familiar space into a scene of terror. Pay close attention to the background and the lighting, as the transition from a normal hangout to a paranormal event happens in the blink of an eye. This is a reminder that we are never truly alone, even in the most mundane places.
Rita Jordán. Y y ella era amiga de... No, a la bestia. No mames.
The sudden darkness triggers an immediate panic, but the real mystery begins when the light returns. Notice how the atmosphere has shifted from playful to frantic as the students realize something is physically wrong. Watch the furniture closely as the camera pans back around.
No, a la Virgen. No mames. Ey, no, no mames. No mames.
The sight of a chair being violently shoved across the room while the students are across from it is truly jarring. Critics often point to fishing lines or off-camera assistants as the culprits in classroom scares, especially given the chaotic camera work that could hide such strings. Yet, the genuine terror in the students' voices as they flee the room suggests a level of fear that's hard to fake. We've witnessed a frozen figure in a Texas school, a violent classroom outburst, and a mysterious shadow playing games in a hallway. The night is only getting darker, and the evidence is becoming harder to ignore. If these clips are keeping you on the edge of your seat, make sure to subscribe to Pale Playback and hit that notification bell. We bring you fresh investigations and analyzed evidence every single week. Don't go anywhere because our next set of clips might just be the most chilling yet. Home security cameras often capture the mundane, but for TikTok user Little and Large 13, the footage revealed something deeply unsettling in their own backyard. At night, the familiar layout of our homes can take on a sinister quality where every shadow feels like an intruder. This clip begins with typical nighttime activity, but a sudden movement in the periphery suggests a presence that doesn't belong. Many homeowners install these systems for peace of mind, only to find that the footage creates more anxiety than it relieves. As you watch the area near the garage and the driveway, keep your eyes peeled for a small, unexpected visitor that peeks out from the darkness. The lack of sound in these digital recordings often makes the visual anomalies feel even more intrusive and ghostly. The small figure peeking from around the corner is difficult to identify, leading to a wave of speculation. Skeptics are quick to label this as a stray cat or a small dog, noting that the low resolution of security cameras can easily distort the appearance of common animals. However, the way the entity moves and the specific height at which it appears have led some to suggest it could be something more cryptic, like a duende or a small elemental spirit. The homeowner remains baffled, as no pets were outside at the time and the movement seems too deliberate for a simple trick of the light. This kind of footage serves as a stark reminder that our boundaries are not as secure as we think they are. It's the kind of thing that makes you double-check the locks before heading to bed. What's your professional opinion, animal or something from the shadows? Drop a comment with your best guess. In this final entry, a mortician named Alexis shares professional insights from within the walls of a funeral home. These spaces are naturally quiet and respectful, but they are also rumored to be hotspots for residual energy and spiritual activity. While Alexis focuses on the technical aspects of her work, the environment behind her seems to have a voice of its own. Many who work in the death industry report strange occurrences, but it's rare to catch them so clearly on camera while multitasking. As she explains the delicate process of preparing the deceased, the atmosphere in the room begins to thicken with an eerie tension. Keep your ears open for any sounds that don't belong in a silent hallway, as the spirits here may be trying to join the conversation.
Hey you guys, we haven't made a video in a little while, so I just wanted to come on and kind of refresh everybody with just a little mortician tip here. I don't know if everybody's aware. Sometimes they're not aware that in order for the clothing to really fit properly, say it's too big, too small, we have to cut the back of the clothing in order to place it on your loved one. So sometimes if families request the favorite shirt back or, you know, their favorite set of whatever they have on, it will be cut. It's very rare, unless the clothing is perfectly fitted to that person, that the director won't have to cut it. I've worked in several funeral homes where they don't cut it, and
That sharp, localized sound was enough to make Alexis stop in her tracks. The silence of the funeral home makes every creak and whisper stand out, and this was no exception, but the most chilling moment is yet to come, as a direct message seems to be whispered from the shadows.
Is anybody here?
No.
You
The whisper "time to go" is incredibly distinct, sending a chill down the spine of anyone watching. Skeptics often argue that in videos like this, the second person in the room, in this case, the young man behind her, could be playing a prank or whispering under his breath. However, both of their reactions seem genuinely caught off guard, and the quality of the whisper sounds almost electronic or disembodied rather than vocalized. Some believe that funeral homes can harbor spirits who are not yet ready to move on, occasionally trying to communicate with the living who occupy their space. Whether this was a subtle prank or a genuine EVR, electronic voice phenomenon, captured live, it completely changed the energy of her video. It's a stark reminder of the thin veil between our world and the next. What do you believe? Was the coworker pulling her leg, or was it a voice from beyond? This brings our investigation to a close. Please share your final thoughts and theories on all of tonight's evidence in the comments below. We read every single one. The footage we are examining now was uploaded by a TikTok user named Carla, who claims her home has become the playground for an aggressive entity. The atmosphere is heavy with anticipation as she moves through her kitchen and dining area, documenting the strange occurrences that have plagued her daily life. She captures a space that feels lived in yet unnervingly silent, as if the very air is holding its breath before a storm. Pay close attention to the background as she investigates the source of the unsettling noises echoing through the halls of her residence.
Se lo juro que escuché un hombre por allá. Voy a ver si está por allá atrás. No mames. ¿Qué pedo?
The first event is a violent display of kinetic energy as a container is seemingly swiped off the kitchen counter by an invisible hand. While that movement is startling, the real terror manifests just moments later. Watch the area behind the dining room chairs carefully.
No mames. ¿Qué pedo?
That peek from behind the chair is what has many viewers convinced this is more than just a simple haunting. Skeptics suggest that the object falling could be explained by a hidden string or even a slight incline on the counter, and the figure in the background might be an accomplice positioned perfectly to provide a jump scare. However, the timing between the physical manipulation of the object and the visual appearance of the shadow entity is remarkably coordinated. If this is a hoax, it requires precise execution. But if it is real, Carla is sharing her space with something that isn't shy about making its presence known. The way the head seems to retreat back into the shadows suggests an intelligence at play. What do you make of this interaction? Is it a clever setup or a genuine encounter with the unknown? Share your thoughts on this kitchen manifestation in the comments. We've just witnessed a strange backyard visitor, a chilling whisper from a funeral home, and an aggressive manifestation in a kitchen. The night is only getting darker, and the evidence is becoming harder to ignore. If you're finding these captures as chilling as we are, make sure to subscribe to Pale Playback and hit that notification bell. We dive into the depths of the internet to bring you new evidence every week. Stay tuned, because our next clip takes us to the decaying halls of an asylum where the furniture has a mind of its own. Deep within the crumbling walls of an abandoned asylum, investigators are met with a series of physical disturbances that defy explanation. The air in these corridors is thick with the dust of decades, yet something still moves within the decay. As the camera pans across the derelict rooms, we see the remnants of lives long forgotten, now serving as the stage for a violent poltergeist display. These structures are often reported to hold onto the residual energy of their former inhabitants, leading to intense physical manifestations that occur without warning. Watch as the environment itself seems to turn hostile against the intruders. The force required to launch that frame across the room is significant, suggesting a high-energy event. However, the activity doesn't stop there. As the camera turns toward the hallway, a larger piece of furniture begins to shift on its own. Seeing a heavy chair slide across a concrete floor is unsettling. But wait until you see what happens in the bathroom. The activity seems to be escalating in intensity as the investigators move deeper into the structure. The final movement involving the bathtub structure is perhaps the most difficult to explain away. Skeptics often point to the use of monofilament lines in these types of abandoned building videos, noting that the camera's movement and low lighting can easily hide the presence of strings. Furthermore, the chaotic nature of the editing and the rapid pans could be used to mask someone off camera physically pushing the items. Yet, the weight of the objects involved, especially the tub, would require considerable force. If these are genuine poltergeist movements, this location is experiencing a level of activity rarely seen. The way the objects move in response to the camera's presence suggests a reactive entity. Is this a masterfully staged production, or have these explorers stumbled into a hornet's nest of spiritual activity? Let me know your theories about these moving objects down in the comments section. Our next video features a young girl filming a seemingly innocent review or showcase of her doll. The pink-hued bedroom setting provides a stark contrast to the chilling event that is about to occur. Dolls have long been a focal point for paranormal claims, often said to act as vessels for spirits. In this brief moment, what starts as a typical social media video takes a sharp turn into the uncanny. Keep a very close eye on the doll's facial orientation throughout the recording.
Right now, but yeah, I didn't go in with any eyeshadow because I didn't want.
The way the doll's head appears to rotate toward the girl is subtle yet deeply disturbing. Skeptics argue that this could be a mechanical doll with a simple motorized neck, or even a trick where someone is manipulating the head from behind the girl's shoulder. Others suggest it might be a digital edit, given the short duration and specific framing of the video. However, the girl's reaction seems genuinely surprised when she notices the change. The movement is smooth and looks as though the doll is making eye contact. Is this a sophisticated prank or a genuine case of a haunted object? Leave a comment below with your take on this possessed doll footage. This final piece of evidence comes from a security system monitoring a stairwell late at night. A man is seen sitting on the steps, seemingly unaware of the presence manifesting just a few feet behind him. The grainy, high-contrast look of security footage often provides the perfect backdrop for capturing entities that are invisible to the naked eye. In Indonesian folklore, figures like the one we are about to see are deeply feared and often associated with burial grounds. The stillness of the scene makes the eventual appearance of the figure even more impactful. Watch the dark doorway at the top of the stairs very carefully as the time ticks by. The pale, tall figure emerging from the darkness is a classic representation of a pocong. But the entity isn't done yet. As we move further into the footage, the camera provides a much closer look at this terrifying guest. The detail on the figure in the later part of the clip is what makes it truly harrowing. Skeptics point out that this could easily be a person in a costume, a common trope in many viral horror videos from this region. The lighting is low enough that a white sheet and some makeup could create this exact effect. Additionally, the presence of the man on the stairs suggests a controlled environment where a prank could be easily staged. However, believers argue that the way the figure appears to hover or glide in its unsettlingly thin proportions point to something non-human. The cultural significance of the entity also adds a layer of dread for many viewers. Whether this is a carefully planned hoax or a terrifying encounter with a legendary spirit, it remains one of the most visually striking captures in recent times. Do you think this is just a man in a sheet? Or something far more malevolent? Let us know in the comments. As we close our files for tonight, we're left with more questions than answers. We've seen objects fly across rooms in a kitchen and an asylum, a doll that seems to watch its owner, and a legendary entity lurking in a dark stairwell. Each of these clips challenges our understanding of the physical world. Some might be clever digital manipulations or elaborate pranks, while others might be genuine windows into a reality we don't fully understand. The debate between skepticism and belief is what keeps the paranormal community thriving. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the unexplained here on Pale Playback. Your theories and observations are a vital part of this investigation. So please, continue the discussion in the comments. Which video did you find the most convincing? Do you have your own stories of the supernatural? We want to hear them. Don't forget to like this video if it gave you the chills and subscribe so you don't miss next week's evidence. Until next time, keep your eyes open because the truth is often hidden in the shadows. This has been Pale Playback. Sleep well